at you here. We got a shooting range right behind us. So if you hear any gunshots going off, that's what that is. Anyway, I wanted to come at you here real quick. Having a great season so far for season 8. I've had some action from day 1. My brother Scotty, he's already got 2 does down in 2 weeks worth of season. Anyway, the reason I'm coming at you here today is to give my good friend Nick some props. He's worked really hard on his property the last few years, and it has really shown over the last 2 years on the size and quantity of bucks that he has had on his property. So I'm just going to go over the hit list a little bit down the list. And you know, I'm not a trophy hunter by any means. You know, it's all about getting close to the wildlife, getting closer to our Creator, enjoying God's creation. So, you know, any of these bucks are shooters in my book. I am, you know, starting to grow and push myself to wait for a more mature deer. But anyway, we'll just go down the hit list here real quick. I think what myself and Nick has settled on being the number 1 would be this split 10. Just because of the size of his rack and also just the uniqueness of these split tines here on both sides. I mean, that would just be a trophy in my book. I mean, yeah, it would be something that you just don't see every day. And you know, we have a lot of pictures of him. He's kind of tailed off here the last few weeks, so we haven't seen him as much as we were early. You know, in August and late July. So there's just a lot of bucks in this area, and you know, as the season progresses, you know, they are going to fan out a little bit and get in out of these bachelor groups and getting more into their own territory. So it's not a surprise that we don't have steady pictures of these bucks. This is definitely an early season location with these food plots that Nick's has. So again, we'll show you another picture of this split 10, just how amazing that he really is. Next would be the big 11, and he's got a split on one side. We don't have as many pictures of him as we do on the split 10, but definitely a good shooter buck for sure. You can just see how he's got a lot of mass, he's got good spread, nice tall tines, and again, he's been pretty regular early season, kind of tapered off a little bit. The next one is what we call the Crab Claw 10. We had an early scouting session on top of Nick's log home where we were taking some photos of some deer out in the fields from the rooftop, and this is the one that we think was standing out by this pond. It was just massive. I thought there was a bush in front of his rack. Nick was telling me, no, that's his rack, and it was just a monster. So this is the one that we think that we were kind of arguing about on the roof up there on what buck this was, and we didn't see him quite as early on trail camera as some of these other bucks were. So a lot of pictures of him, a lot of daytime pictures. He is the one that we're having most consistently having daytime pictures of, and consistently coming through the food plot since the start of season. So definitely he is on the hit list here. Hopefully we can get a chance to see him come through. We have there's the Monster 8. We only have just a few pictures of him, but he is gigantic. And some really, I mean, just wide, tall. And, you know, I've confused him with a couple other of these. Nick's got several really nice 8 points on trail camera, and I've confused him with a couple of other these big 8 points. But this one we've started to call the Monster 8 because he does come around every once in a while and we'll get a photo of him, and he is just wider and taller than the other big 8 points that there are on camera. We have a 10 point, just a really nice 10. I think some of these deer are still young. They're not 5 years old, I don't think, but just a nice solid 10 point. And you know, I mean, there's nothing more you can really say about him. I mean, I would take him if I seen him for sure on this 10-point. We don't have as many pictures of him. There's a neighbor's field across the way that I've seen these deer out in his field as well. We're taking pictures of them. Maybe I can throw a few of these up there on there as well from the rooftop. But that's the 10-point. This is the big 8 with the left brow. Good looking 8-point. Definitely a shooter in my book. I would not pass him up unless, you know, we knew that some of these other bigger ones were coming in more regular. But he's just, you know, his left brow's just a little taller than his right. But good solid buck for sure. And I'll put these back up there again so you can kind of see them. But this is the big 8 with the right brow. I think he is slightly bigger than the big 8 with the left brow. He's just good, solid monster 8-point for sure. And you know, like I said, I am trying to grow as an archery hunter and letting some of these littler ones walk, but for sure he's one that I will love to see on the hoof. This is the Iffy 9. I thought I had an encounter with the Iffy 9, but on September 20th I was able to get a shot from right across the way over there in the island stand on what I thought was the Iffy 9. But this Iffy 9's got 5 on one side and, you know, 4 on the other, and actually it's more of an Iffy 10 than an Iffy 9. But I think on this one the smaller time and in velvet, we only have one picture of him really. It threw me off when I was considering what I thought the one I took a shot was on the Iffy 9. Here we just got a short tine 8-point. You know, all these other ones, the left brow, the right brow, they're much taller and have an uneven brow tine. Here we have a shorter tine 8-point with even brow tine, so that's one good distinguishing characteristic. Then we kind of get into the lower ones where I mean, there's so many bucks on the property this year that they're kind of hard to keep up with, especially when you get into these 8-points and they kind of look the same. But we have a tall 8-point with no brows. He's tall enough, he looks to be mature enough that definitely you could take a shot at him. And he's been around quite a bit. We just have the a mid 8-point, not quite sure where he's at. I haven't seen him very many times either. And then we have here a small 9-point, and that's the one that I think I took a shot on. Definitely look good on the hoof. I'll throw a couple live photos on here. Looked much bigger on the hoof than it did on this trail cam picture. This trail cam picture I was saying pass, and again it could be just a similar buck, but when I seen him on the hoof, it was definitely a shooter in my book. We got another mid with one brow, mid 8-point, and then we have the little 8-point, which I was calling my pet, just because I want to definitely give him another year. Put a couple live photos up there on that from that hunt on the 20th. Anyway, just wanted to come at you here real quick and give you an opportunity to look at some of these deer that are on the property this year, and definitely want to give a shout out to Nick for working so hard on these food plots, hanging these stands. The guys, Rocky and Eve, Scotty, myself, hanging these stands. But Nick, it really has figured out his area over the years, hopping from spot to spot, seeing where these deer come out, and then putting up these stands, you know, to catch them when they do come out. But definitely want to thank him for the opportunity to come out here and deer hunt, and also thank the good Lord for my health and the opportunity. But anytime you can get out and enjoy God's creation, definitely take that opportunity as well. So anyway, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.